Hello friends, dear teachers and students, today in this video we are going to discuss very important poem entitled Love, written by S.T. Coleridge, means Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Friends, the poem Love is one of the Coleridge's most interesting and beautiful poems. Friends, as far as this poem Love is concerned, we found the poem Love is taken from very important anthology of S.T. Coleridge entitled Tale of the Dark Lady. Friends, the poem has very interesting story. After marriage, Samuel Taylor Coleridge fell in love with future sister-in-law of William Wordsworth named Sarah Hutchinson. In that regard, the poem Love is included in Ezra poems of S.T. Coleridge. So friends, in this poem, there are various beautiful natural landscapes and outstanding words regarding love used by S.T. Coleridge, which are found in this poem. Friends, the present poem entitled Love has 24 stanzas of 4 lines, means 96 lines poem, and has a rhyming pattern of ABCD. So friends, let's see the beautiful aspects of S.T. Coleridge regarding the love. So let's start the poem stanza one by one, and we're going to really enjoy this poem Love. So let's start the poem Love by S.T. Coleridge. Friends, the poem entitled Love is about the two love affairs. One is the love of the miserable knight for the lady of the land, and the deep but unexpressed love of the poet S.T. Coleridge for his beautiful and innocent Genevieve. However, there are many striking differences between the traditional and this ballad. So friends, let's see that how the beautiful love poem written by S.T. Coleridge, which is impersonal one. Friends, as far as the poem begins with the speaker who describing how love is the most important of the emotions. It is connected to all other emotions and experiences. There is one particular person the speaker is thinking of, a woman named Genevieve. He spends the majority of his piece relying to the reader how he wooed Genevieve. It took time and the influence of the loving and sorrowful story to bring her to him. The story he tells is contained with 10 stanzas, which is about the details of the love a knight feels for the lady of the land, where she does not reciprocate at first, and it drives him mad. He travels throughout the country but is unable to shake off her image and presence. Eventually, he comes upon a group attempting to rape a woman. The woman turns out and be a lady, the knight's love. He saves her but is mortally wounded. The lady has learned to love him, though, and is deeply upset by his death. It is the sorrow of the story that turns Genevieve towards the speaker. The two embrace, and the speaker declares that she became his wife. So friends, this is about introductory ideas about the beautiful poem entitled Love by S.T. Coleridge. Friends, this stanza 1, I have already told that the poem is written in ABCB rhyming pattern. Friends, this stanza, first stanza, where the speaker begins by stating that every emotion one could experience, from passion to sorrow as well as thoughts, influence of love. It is to his benefit that these feelings exist. The extraneous experiences are ministers to great purpose. Hence, Coleridge choose to personify his love, which is really the force of every human characteristics, in order to shift one's perspective on its abilities. It gives given agency and the will to make certain events happen. Love will be the driving force in his narrative. So this is very, very important aspect came regarding the stanza 1. Friends, the second stanza, where we found the speaker goes on to referring himself in the first person narration, is also an important part of the story, where Coleridge places the poem's main story within the frame of his speaker's narration. The speaker is looking back on a time that comes to him in his waking dreams or daydreams. He recalls the happy hour in which he was midway on his horse and stationed beside the ruined tower. From this line and those that follow in the third stanza, it is clear that poem has a fantastical element. The events have a fairy tale like quality to them, a fact that supports love's primary role in the story. Friends, in third stanza, poet has created a beautiful atmosphere of moonshine, and there are many very interesting words or lines which were many times repeated in the poem, and those are, she was there, my hope, my joy, and here he has declared the name of his beloved Genevieve. So he describing the time in his life and beautiful scene playing out under the near moonshine or moonlight, which was moving slowly over the speaker and the tower. It was combining with the other lights of the evening and the light given off by Genevieve. Here the speaker introduces another main character, which is his true love, that is his name of his beloved Genevieve. She is described as being hope, joy, or just for these lines clear that the value of her in his life. It means that his love was everything in his life. So friends, now the poet is really expressing the true sense of love from the various next stanzas. Friends, in stanza number 4, we found that how the speaker very dedicatedly speaking or describing Genevieve, that how she reacts to him. He also described that the words like guileless, she can do no wrong. She stands around the scene and listens to the speaker. He is reciting to her his lay or short lyric poem or narrative. The speaker describes her as if she has no life of her own, and the only thing she has to do as the light lingers is to listen to him speak. It is easy for him to gain her love. He knows exactly what to do. Friends, now he is mentioning about the night. I have already mentioned that there are 2 love affairs, and this is about the ideas about the night. Friends, in stanza number 5, poet was very successfully writing about the description of Genevieve, who continuously have many sorrows of her own. There is nothing for her to suffer in the world now. Perhaps this is because she is protected, or that she is not aware enough to recognize sorrow for what it is. In the next line, speaker uses the phrase my hope, my joy, which I have already mentioned, that through this line he tried to describing the importance of Genevieve. The repetition of these emotions, which emphasized the presence within the speaker's mind or heart, And friends, we found that how poet himself says that something about his depth of emotions. Sees to him, for poet, she is perfect and he can only create positive emotions in his life. Poet declares himself that she is lucky for him, particularly likes him when she sighs. She appreciates his talent sufficiently, especially when they make her cry. His words allow her to experience and emotions she is not just to. So friends, we found that how poet emotionally attached with the presence of Genevieve. The stanza number 6 is also about, the story is moving now forward because in this poem there are 24 stanzas, and so story is moving forward and describing that how speaker sings, plays his lay. His words are soft and gentle one, and her presence are doleful or mournful. There is one story in particular the speaker remembers telling Genevieve. It is an old and emotionally moving one. It has the benefit of being sad, wild and hoary. The narrative is somewhat scandalous, and it means to sadden the excited Genevieve in equal measure. Friends, this stanza 6 really changing the atmosphere, and where the stanza number 7 came before us, that she listened with a fleeting blush, means that he explained that speaker tells that how Genevieve reacted to the story. First of all, she blushed and lowered her eyes, embarrassed but also moved. Now this is natural idea came before us that happened between lovers and beloved. That she expressing her modesty in their contemporary society. And this would be the only appropriate reaction for a young woman to have. Her meek gaze is also a reaction to the fact that speaker does not seem to be able to stop looking at her. He is unable to move his eyes from upon her face. Now, how the third person was attracting towards the love. Friends, in stanza number 8, that poet himself declared regarding the concept or regarding the ideas that the story opens here. That the reader is within 3 layers of narrative. He is retelling the story that both hoary and sorrowful. First he states that there was a knight who carried a shield on which there was a burning brand. While he went about his duties, he spent rest of his time attempting to woo the lady of the land. From this short phrase, the reader is able to assume that speaker relates this mysterious lady to Genevieve. The 10 years spent on wooing her should convey to Genevieve that the speaker would be willing to do the same. Friends, now the story moving in the 9th stanza, and the speaker tells the reader that in the story the knight pinned over the lady. In next lines, he explained that he knows exactly what he is doing with the story. Genevieve appreciates the way he tells another story, and that passion works to his benefit, and so with which I sang another's love, interpreted my own. This is very beautiful line from stanza number 9. And friends, in stanza number 10, we found there is the 10th stanza fully dedicated to the Genevieve. She said again to have a fleeting blush and downcast eyes. Her grace is on display once more. Although perhaps he should be the speaker still stares at her, she does not mind and apparently forgive him for it. Friends, this is about the first 10 stanzas where there was relationship, dynamic relationship or strange one, which apologetic tone and regards his advances is a clear put on in order to get closer to her. That being said, it is likely that her modesty is false, as well as they are both players at a game for which society wrote the rules. They cannot step out of their roles as lady and gentleman. So here one part of the poem is concluded. Friends, in stanza 11, we found that the speaker tells to all of us that lady did not accept the knight's advances. He was made a wanderer the land, constantly seeking out a way to win her heart. She was so scornful and cruel to treat someone so lovely that way. The knight did everything he could and traveled through the woods and over mountains every day and night, desperate for an answer. So friends, how that knight was very cruel and scorning and not successful to getting the love. In stanza 12, we found that there are very interesting ideas created by S.T. Coleridge, where the knight went on, or what he did, a face of the lady was there, or to stare at him. She appeared from the darkest of the places. Though she would never be associated with such a person, she would appear from nowhere, haunting him. The impact of this haunting is explained in the next stanza. Now how the speed of the poem is increased. Friends, as far as stanza number 13 is concerned, that how face of the woman came to him and made him miserable. She was just beautiful as always, but how her constant presence wears him down and inspires him. He still loves and seeks to win her. She is to him an angel, beautiful and bright. But she had another side. She was like a fiend that would not leave him alone. Lucky for the lovely knight, his situation was about to change. Friends, this is the impact of love which has changed the mind or mentality of the knight. Stanza 14. While he was wandering around the country of something of days, he threw himself into a murderous band. He did not seek to join them, but to save their victim from an outrage worse than death, meaning rape. And surprisingly, the woman he saved was the lady of the land. He acts out of impulse without a predetermined idea of what he was going to do, and lead him back to the woman he loves. Friends, here slowly there are founding some important solutions from stanza one by one. In next stanza number 15, we found that how she was weeping and clasping and various ideas came before us. Finally, the knight is getting the attention of the lady that he always wanted. She is so thankful that he saved her that she sinks down and clasps him around his knees. Friends, she is crying and thanking him for what he did for her. So friends, knight has served or saved the life of the landlady. Although this is everything, the speaker used to hold some of his old negative opinions towards her. She is not all that she is used to. Yes, the lady is not going to let that stand and strive to expiate. The scorn that crazed his brain is now her goal to change his mind and bring him back to state he was in before. So there is a kind of a solution in 15th stanza. Friends, in 16th stanza, the lady spends a great deal of time, which can say that nursing time with him. And that togetherly they stay there in the cave and likely close to where the almost tragedy occur. But friends, here the poem has been changed. Eventually, his madness or his ill opinion of her went away. This was not a strictly optimistic turn of events though. His mind was only changed because he was dying. The speaker describes this valiant knight's resting place as being on the yellow forest leaves. This is a tragic and surprising ending to the story that a reader might not have seen coming. Friends, very tragic end of this love story in between the poem. So stanza 16 is very crucial, where there was the death of the knight. The knight was clearly injured in the fight to free the lady from her attackers, and it was this injury as much as the crazed nature of his mind, and that she was nursing. Friends, here stanza number 17 opens, and what were the dying words were reached towards the landlady. In 17th stanza, the narrator speaks about the steps back from the story. It has become very emotional, or at least he's playing it off as being so that his voice flatters and his harp pauses. Yes, friends, harp is really compared to the heartbeats. He realizes that the vibrantly real nature of his story has moved and disturbed Genevieve. Yes, now slowly poet moving towards his beloved. She has become terribly sad about this ending. Now Genevieve was very sad due to the death of the knight. Perhaps he now realizes he has gone too far, or maybe he is only recognizing the perfect outcome to his initiating this tale. Friends, slowly the poem moving in the stanza 18th, which has impulsed the souls and sense of the readers, and where Genevieve, the music or the very sad tale has changed. That speaker uses the stanza which describing the reaction of Genevieve to the story he told. She was deeply moving toward the impulses emotions, and where speakers also very emotional by reading the description about the death or the situation. And here we found with the beautiful music, which is so rich and very much worth recognizing. These events have worked together, and where bring sorrow out of his intended lover. Friends, slowly the poem turning towards 19th stanza, where we found there are certain hopes and there are certain gentle wishes also came before us. In particular, Genevieve was moved by the hopes and fears that were conveyed through the story. She imagined herself in the same situation and what the loss of the possibility of love would be feel like. This is exactly the reaction the speaker was hoping to get from her. Yes, now she accepted the death of the knight. If he can make her fear losing love, then she will be more amiable to his own advances. In this way, we found slowly there was pitiful conditions were changing, and where 20th stanza regarding the love came before us, and how Genevieve, poet or the narrator, very openly expressing the dreams, the virgin or the love of Genevieve is so upset by these new emotions. One must remember that she has no sorrow in her life normally, that she is weeping. She loved the story but feels pity for those involved. The address is accompanied in equal measures with the virgin shame. She was not known love or lust, but wants to. The tide turns for the speaker when he hears her breath or hear his name. So friends, now here we are turning toward the stanza 21, where the beautiful love or the beautiful appearance came before us. Genevieve yet not appear to be control of her emotions in 21st stanza. Now she come out from her real emotions, and her chest is heaving, and she has to step away from the speaker. She does not dare meet his eyes, but does not want to miss out on the opportunity to experience love like the characters in the story did. She runs to him and he enfolds her in his arms. Friends, finally, after death of the knight, she was really attracted towards the narrator, attracted towards the speaker, and finally the speaker was successful to get his love, the love of Genevieve. Here we are turning toward the stanza number 22, where see Genevieve hugged to the speaker very meekly, and the young woman is unsure what she is supposed to or what she should do. This quick stanza describes one moment when she looks at the speaker and contemplates the situation she is in. Yes, friends, after death of knights, here the situation has been changed. But here the narrator was very happy. Why? Because he was successful in getting his love. In stanza number 23, though there was a fear, though there was a partly love, but it was the real love from the heart of Genevieve. And at this point, the speaker knows that he must calm her. His fear over the reaction in her mirrors Genevieve's own fear of losing love. Finally, the two know how they feel about one another and are able to act on that. The speaker chooses to feel her love rather than seize by inflicting emotions on her. Friends, finally, we come in the last stanza, 24th stanza of the poem, where we found that how Genevieve was very calmed down and become a beauteous bride of the speaker. In order to restore Genevieve to how she was before, he calms her and tells her of his own love. Now, the speaker was successful to say, I love you to Genevieve. It is the story followed by a few simple acts of kindness that turn her to him. He was able to win her and take her as his bride. Their story has a happy ending that the knight and the lady could only wish for. So this is about the two love stories came before us regarding the story. Friends, this is, we can say, a kind of love triangle came before us. The poem, as far as the theme of the poem is concerned, we found that there is the glorification of love. Love, according to the poet, is the supreme passion of human being, and all the other passions are subordinated to it. Hence, we found that we have to contribute something to the passion of love. They stimulate, love inspires. Due to the sustaining love actions, it makes life very fiery or very steady and bright one. In that regard, we found that this is the main theme of the poem, that how love is the major source came before us. The main theme of the poem is described in the first stanza. In opening stanza, that proceeds the circumstances, the time, place which sought to win the love of Genevieve. Yes, there is the always hope for getting the love, and he does not, though poet does not directly express his love, but he describing the sorrowful story of his beloved Genevieve, and finally he get his bride. Initially, there are some disappointment ideas came before us. There were he lost all interest in life and wandered in the forest. There he once rescued his lady love from the clutches of some wild ruffians who wanted to molest her chastity. The lady realizes the worth and deep love of her lover and nursed him day and night to save him. But all her efforts proved fruitless, and she could not save that knight. So finally, there is the death of the knight. But friends, the narrator was really very happy by accepting the situation. Though knight's heart was overflowing with the emotions of love, the heart was beautifully singing the songs, but the mourning situation came here, that there is the death of the knight, and how Genevieve realized that she felt pity for the knight and also her own lover, who was not less feeling of pity for knight as well as her lover. The influence of temptingly romantic scene came before us. Friends, the gradual increasing of her love for poet, all these had a very strong effect on her, and she, not without some hesitation and shyness, ultimately yielding to his love and confessed her love in an open manner. The poet finally successful to create a very exciting and love-winning situation of his beloved Genevieve. So friends, we found the poem Love is highly romantic. The time and place are romantic, therefore very suitable for describing the story of love of that dejected and miserable knight. The poet was lying halfway in mountain beside a ruined tower. The time was evening. The moon was climbing up The sky and the moonlight was slowly and stealthily spreading over the scene. In such beautiful romantic place, poet was enjoying the company of Genevieve, who leaned against the romantic place, against the statue of an armed knight. The sorrowful tune and the old rustic song poet sang harmoniously well with surrounding atmosphere. Such a wild and romantic atmosphere came together and expressed directly by the poem. And regarding the feelings of poet's love for Genevieve, and he had very nicely narrated all these ideas. Friends, the poem love has a perennial appeal because it describes the most intense passion of the human heart. The human heart is full of the feelings of love, pity, fear, and sympathy. All these feelings are very nicely expressed by poet himself. And so the central passion described in the poem is that love. Love has been glorified as the supreme passion of mankind, and other passions are subordinate to it. And so he has contributed very supreme passions in this poem. All we found that the poet has expressed love, the lady, the beauty, and his deep love for Genevieve, and he is also successful to develop a deep love for him. In this connection, we found that it is noticed that all of them are inspired with platonic or ideal love. There is a union of the hearts and not for body. There is no suggestion of carnal passion in anybody. So poet knows that how Genevieve is full of pity and sympathy for other sorrows. He tries to win her love, singing the story, and finally he got his love, and she has worked up and strong emotions. So friends, in this way, this beautiful ballad Love is successful to create an artless, simple, and direct effect on the mind of the readers. Friends, there are many songs, there are many ideas came before us, and all these 24 stanzas, which we can say a kind of a love songs, where there is a tragedy, but finally there is the lady was successful to get his love. Our poet himself was successful to get his love. So here very skillfully Coleridge was successfully or very masterly has harmonized and create music in the poem. There are many qualities regarding the poem, regarding love came through this poem. So feeling of love is the major effect came before us. So friends, again read all 24 stanzas and enjoy this beautiful love poem. Friends, regarding all these conclusions, I stop here and stop my words here by thanking all of you. Thank you friends. Thank you and all.